Happy Tuesday. I'm Coach Janet. We're going to dive in. I want to do a little intro of my story and then we're going to talk about macros because we're all tracking this week and it's important to understand why we need to track, what the benefits are, and how to do it without getting too stressed. Okay, so let's dive in. So, back in the day, I wasn't a healthy person. I worked in corporate. I was a workaholic, actually, if I'm honest. Smoked, didn't move except to get my coffee and my cigarettes, was very overweight. And I've since obviously changed my lifestyle and my habits. And now I think my biggest like work in progress, other than my pickleball, and it kind of goes hand in hand, is my mindset. So I'm a recovering perfectionist, I'll say, and I still work to have a growth mindset, one of optimism, one of I can do this, one of um, positivity. I still struggle. And yeah, that's my thing. So, as I said, I came from corporate and I worked in IT financial in the information technology department, and we would have implementations 4 times a year, and they were two of them were quite large. And I was reporting to VPs and directors, and I remember sitting in the boardroom and Sun Life, a multi-billion-dollar company, I guess I shouldn't be bashing them on Facebook, but anyways, they're upset that they might lose, we were going to be, inevitably, the project was going to be a week late-ish. It just caused havoc, and there was like, oh, it's just painful. Meanwhile, Joe, who's my husband, is in Afghanistan, okay, in the surgery department doing surgeries on our husbands and boys and stitching people together. And I'm sitting across from these directors and I'm like losing my shit in my head. I'm thinking, oh my God. Plus, I was never very politically correct. So I was always in trouble. You can't say that in the boardroom. I'm like, we're saying it in the hallway. So why not? Right? Anyhow, that's my story. I have a much nicer life now. So let's dive into macros. So, first of all, there are many reasons for tracking your macro. Then really what we're talking about is tracking the macros. We'll get into what macros are in a sec, but I want you to know that people who do the tracking lose weight and fat sooner. It can really help your journey. And we're going to talk about how to make it simple so we're not going to stress about it. And you know what? I shared last week that I got ready for a dinner out and my pants were a little tight. I mean, they fit, but my bum has put on the summer, right? I go back to tracking. And I want to share a story about one of my personal team members. She was losing. Then all of a sudden, boop, she's back up like 3 pounds. I'm like, girl, what happened? That week she didn't track one, and it might have been a response to some food she could be intolerant to, but also not tracking. Now, I'm not suggesting you track forever and ever and ever. Not at all. It's not, you don't want it to get obsessive, but it can be a huge awareness tool. It can be very valuable. And I would suggest that you track for at least 4 weeks. And again, one of my own personal team members, I think I let her off the hook too early. Last week we met and she's like, I'm too busy to track. And I said, okay, let's not. We can do intuitive eating, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, we're meeting again this week. And you probably know, if you're watching this, you know who I'm talking about. I think we're going to have another discussion because I don't feel like I did the best justice for her. Let's try this at least. Okay. So let's dump in. Let's dive in. What are macros? There are, for alcohol is its own thing, but I'm not going to talk about alcohol today. We're going to focus on fat, protein, and carbohydrates. Protein is going to help with your recovery. Protein is going to build that muscle, and it is precious. The muscle is going to boost your metabolism and help you lose weight. So, and did you know when you eat protein, you will burn more calories digesting that protein, 3 times more calories than you will digesting carbs or fat. So just by eating protein, you're going to burn more calories. Carbohydrates, oh, and let me back up. So I've given my team lists for their protein, their carbs, and their fat. I suspect you all have that information, but basically protein is meat sources, tofu, protein powders, dairy, Greek yogurt, and cottage cheese specifically. Carbohydrates you need for fuel, and they help stabilize your mood. They can even bring down cortisol. So that's your fruit, bread, rice, potato, squash. And then fats are essential for our hormones. So those of us who are getting older definitely need those fats um, to help with the hormones. And if we're in a fat loss protocol, we tend to see more success with less carbs, more fat. So your fats are your seeds, your nuts, your avocado, olive oil, olives, all that good stuff. Now, your coach, we have calculators and we'll figure out what your macros should be based on your goals, what you're currently eating, what you currently weigh, all that good stuff all plays a part. Then we have calculators that we can put in the stats and it will have suggested macros for you. And that's what your coach has set your targets to. Now, that's not to say we can't reassess, right? Let's be little engineers. We'll track to these macros and then, depending on how we're feeling and what our body does, you can always change them. Okay, but as I said, there's a lot of benefit to doing this tracking, and probably the biggest is awareness. I have had text messages, raisins, who knew? Once you start putting in this data, and that's all it is, data, you'll get feedback straight away to go, oh gosh, I didn't know I was eating so much carbohydrate. Most people come and they're eating like 50% of their calories from carbohydrates and 10 or 11 from protein. Just switching that, guys, to more protein, less carbs, boom, it's like magic. It also keeps you accountable. So you log your food and you have like 1,500 calories, say. So you want to go back to the cupboard. I'm exactly the same. I want to go back to the cupboard and get my like second bowl of nuts or whatever it is. But I see my calories, or I've already had all my calories. It will keep me accountable and out of the cupboard. And as I said, we can adjust when you hit plateaus. We can switch them around. The body does like to change or responds to change. But the thing is, logging is not perfect. No way. There's a couple of reasons why it's not perfect. Say I'm a company and I produce soup. So I have like, I don't know, 20 SKUs of different kinds of soup. I'm not going to test every SKU. I'm going to test 2 or 3 and I'm going to guess at the rest. So even on the labels, they're close, but they're not perfect. If you cook food, so if you eat an apple raw and you cook it, you will ingest or absorb a different amount of calories. Doesn't matter, just say apple. Your metabolism is different than mine. I will absorb a different amount of calories than you were, but it's okay because it's not about perfection. It's really about that accountability. Don't get too hung up on it. For example, say you go, I'm eating chili, so you punch it in, chili, and there's going to be a bunch of chilies that show up. At the top usually is like 50 calories, and at the bottom might say 400 calories for the same amount of chili, but there'll be a bunch that say like 300 or 250. Take the average. Just look down the list. Oh, that's about right. And grab that. And always use the same chili entry. And the apps will help you do that. Like it'll start knowing you and it'll just pull it in. And so you pull in your chili and say you're eating a cup and then we're not losing weight. Okay, we're going to reduce our calories. So then you eat a half a cup, but you're still using the same entry. So it becomes a static variable. I hope that makes sense. I'm sorry, guys, I'm just looking at my notes. Oh, yeah, so I wanted to get into some little hacks for tracking that make it easier. A lot of my team members like to log the night before. So on Sunday, they'll log for Monday. And then as Monday rolls on, all they have to do is tweak it if Monday changes. You could even do that like for the whole week or 3 days. You could log 3 days at a time, 2 days at a time, and then tweak as you go through. I also like the web version. So most of us are logging on our mobile phone, but you can log on to the web version using your same, this is MyFitnessPal. I should back up and say, reference MyFitnessPal. You can log on to the web version and it gives you more detail, right? You can see the carbs and macros and fat for every food that you ate. And you can balance your numbers. So say you punch it all in, oh, protein's a little low. Okay, I have a scoop of protein in my shake. What if I change it to a scoop and a half? So you can change it on the fly, recalculates all the numbers, boom. Okay, now my numbers all balance, and you can play with it and plan your day like that. Um, okay, yes, and I did want to say it's not about restricting. That's not what we're trying to do. We're just trying to gain knowledge and help you move forward so food works for you. It's an amazing tool, you guys. Love it. So here's what I'd like you to do. If you've tried it and you like it, drop a heart in the comments. If you need help, drop a question mark, and me, or probably your coach, one of us will reach out and give you a hand. I also wanted to mention, I had hoped to talk to Paul about this before I shared this, but I've offered my team a group call once a month, last Sunday of every month, and somebody in my team said they wanted to talk about macros. So I think this month's call is going to be on macros. So let me know if you'd be interested in attending that. I'm just looking at the calendar. It'd be the last Sunday of September. And we haven't organized it yet. So around the 28th, 29th, anyways, there will be a meeting and we can dive a little bit deeper into this if you all have questions. So that's my time. I've actually run quite a bit over, but let me know if you've got questions, drop your comment, and I look forward to this. Is exciting, right, guys? This is a new chapter of your life. Let's get this. Let's get you to your goals, and then we'll move forward once the competition's over. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon.